Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Starseed Gathering Podcast. I'm super excited to have Jean with me today. We are going to talk about his journey, his awakening, and how spirituality came about for him. He's in Europe right now, so he's going to talk to you about where he's at and what he's doing. So, welcome, beautiful soul. How are you doing?
Hey, Isabel, thank you to having me. It's so great, always great to be with you. And
You're so welcome.
yeah, so I'm Jean Frenay. I live in Sweden now. I'm originally from Belgium, just my French accent. And so in Sweden now I work as a healer, channeler, and yeah, I do many things on the side of it. Um, I live here for 9 years now with my son, and uh, life is, yeah, it's a great life. It's different than in Belgium, and I came along a long way in my journey to arrive here in Sweden. Um as I'm born in Belgium 45 years ago, and had some journey for me. And going up in Belgium, 13 years in Belgium Army, and early awakening process, and then big travel that opened even more windows on what life is about and spirituality and other things. And then meeting the mother of my son here, moving to Netherlands for 4 years, and then moving here in Sweden. So that is the little journey to arrive here, and and share what I can share here. And via internet with the world, and meeting great people like Isabel.
You're so welcome. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Even if you look at my journey, how much well, I'm not in Europe. In Europe, I feel you can go to many different countries and like maybe shorter time than me. Like me, I
Yeah.
have to take planes and it takes forever to go everywhere. But I think at some point we get to this point and you're like, oh, that's why I went there at that time. Oh, that's why this happened at that time. It may not really make sense on the spot, but at some point we get the can kind of put the puzzle pieces together. So what was the trigger for your awakening, you would say? Like the first one, because we were chatting before this podcast saying that there's different levels of awakening. So let's talk about your first one and whatever you want to share about that.
My first one, as I was telling you, I grew up in a bubble due to past trauma. So my childhood was kind of hard in some way. And when I was 20, around, I met my first wife, and she had intuition and feeling of presence. So that was kind of scary for her. So we start to search into spiritism. But for me, directly I had the big question. I was like, okay, who am I? Where, why life? What is about? Those uh, deep question, philosophic question. And I started to search at book that came to me, at people that I told to. And then I divorced after 4 years, and I ended up alone. It was actually a really happy moment of my life in a weird way. And it's like those answer was coming to me. I had those great questions, and then answer came to me, and feeling. And I was working with myself. At that moment, I was talking to myself in the mirror a lot, talking to my body. Connecting to my body was actually, I think, one of the big catalysts, because I reconnect with love, with every part of my body, with every cell, knowing that every part of me was consciousness. Every cell was conscious. And one day I was looking TV, and something just popped out, a phrase. I went in front of the mirror and I look at myself. I say this phrase. I start to vibrate like I never vibrated before, like a 1,000 times more than like way, your feet when you sleep, because you sit where then it wake up is like vibrating, but it was so intense. My hands, my feet, my head, and then my whole body. I could feel really every chakra in my body like vibrate so deeply. I think I didn't touch the ground for a few minutes, and I was crying and laughing. So many emotions coming to. But after this event, my body changed physically, my confidence changed, but the most of it is my consciousness. I felt love, like really this deep and conditioned love for everything, because I knew I was one with everything. And that was, yeah, one of the greatest moments in my life, because it put a guide for the rest of my life. It was so profound that same if I was really young, I was 23, so it's 22 years ago. It I was still with all my trauma and pattern and thing from I was just still a kid somewhere, but I had this consciousness, this knowing that I was more than what we believe, that I was everything, and everyone is everything. You, Isabel, you are me, I am you. And of course, we have our own consciousness and separation, but deeply we are not separated. And this creates this link, this emotion of love, because we love what we were led to. If you take your family, you love your family, but imagine if you expand your family to the world, to every animal, every plant, everything. This love is just exponential, and there's no limits.
I love that. It's funny what you're saying because I remember an old movie and I can't remember the title of it. Maybe you know that movie. Uh, it's really about consciousness, and the guy is just happening to arrive in it looks like a garden, and he's like seeing the energies coming out of the leaves. I don't know if you
The
know that
Celestine
movie.
prophecy.
Which one is it?
The Celestine prophecy?
Exactly, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, and I was like, when I watched that movie, I don't think, once you awaken and you watch that movie, you have a totally complete different understanding. So when you're talking about your story, that's what it feels like. It's like, how much sometimes, and for me, I cannot say it's 24/7 that I feel so connected to everything. Nature helps me to go back to this connection, and there's a very beautiful place here by a river, and probably you see all of the picture I post now. They're always there because they're a really, really beautiful place. But what I'm sensing is that I can just sit and I'm gonna feel into the energy. I'm feeling the breeze. I'm feeling the water in the river. I'm feeling the birds around me, the trees around me, and it just feels there is no separation anymore. And I do believe um that's the oneness that we all are looking for, I think, while we're here during this ascension process. So how cool that you could actually experience that back then, right? Because as we were saying before we started the recording, 20 years ago was very different than right now.
Yeah,
So
really.
how was it
Felt
for you?
really, yeah, I didn't felt alone in the sense I felt one with everything, but in that consciousness, in that knowing, yeah, back then, I think a lot of people still now believe that they are alone in this process, because it's more and more, but you still have, yeah, you still have so many people that it's difficult to relate to when you're in this knowing. And imagine at the time I was in army. So,
Right.
like I explained, I have a point I want to come back to, because I think it's really important, but my body changed partly. And like physically, I was better. Like I won a lot at that time in army. So I was already good. I was like in the 51st, 71st of my battalion, so 1,000 people. But after this, without training more, I was like in the first 10. And a funny anecdote, my colleague was like, "Hey, Jean, what you do for training? What you do? Because now you're like coming up so fast." I look at him, I hug myself, I say, "I just love myself." Yeah,
Aw.
it's
I love
really
that.
cute, but not in army. For sure, I get a lot of weird look like, oh my God, this one is cuckoo.
Right, right, right. That's funny.
It's a point I want to come back because I think it's something really important that most of us, I will have loved to know that when this happened, is that you say that you cannot be 24/7 in this consciousness, knowing we are all one, blah, blah. And I did, because like I explained, I was still with all my trauma and pattern and blah, blah. The first mistake I make with it is that because I was just divorced, but my ex-wife told me that 1 month after we divorced, she was pregnant of 2 months. We didn't know. So that was already bringing like a lot of things. And same time I had this awakening process. It was really a weird time with different, uh, different side to it. But because I had this love and this knowing, I thought, okay, I just have to be loved. And the mistake I made is I just wanted to be loved and I put the rest of the emotion down. If I will feel frustrated, angry, or whatever, I will push it down. And what it creates over time is that, yeah, I managed to put that down. And of course, I had frustration, I had those feelings. But many years later, plus all the frustration and stuff I had from my kids, from when I was kid, when I was with my second wife, uh, something happened because that was really like a big mirror in that relation. And the valve just popped. And then I was angry for 4 years. And same if I had this consciousness. And what make it, I think it made it even more worse for me, knowing that I was this pure being, this love and thing, and I will observe myself screaming, breaking things. And it it was hard for everybody around me, of course, because anger is really devastating in any way, just word or just a look, or I never hit anybody, but I broke stuff, and it was really hard for the environment around me. But inside me, I had like this really big conflict because I could really like observe myself being angry and have this conversation inside, like, yeah, but it's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. But this anger was like all from my past that I have been consciously or unconsciously suppressing. And I think for everybody that listen, it's important to know that you can have your consciousness really big, know that you are love and everything, but you can also have your human emotion because we are human and we have to find a balance and find a way to not to control, same if it's part of it, but find a way to give life and give way to your emotion in a good way. You can be angry. And sometimes you have to be angry to some people so they can understand, okay, like you cross a limit really too high. But of course, in my case, that was all due to past trauma and choice of me wanted to suppress my feeling just to be loved. And a lot of us, we act and mostly we act true to past trauma, or we see our parents act like that. I can recognize that I was like my father. I was calm and then I will explode. I will calm and then I will explode. And then more you work with yourself, it's why personal development is really important nowadays, to just be able to observe yourself and find any tools. It can be energy healing. It can be find someone that do channeling, someone that play music. Sometimes it's a good song. It can be anything, but being more conscious of ourselves is why I think, again, come back to the body is really important. We're focusing in giving love to this body that is, without it, we cannot do anything. We will not have a life on earth. It's why we come with a body, but it's more than just muscle and vein and blood. It's, it's the tools that help us to awaken. I do truly believe that awakening process in the deepest way have to go through the body, and that is my own belief, of course. But through my own experience is what that tell me. That if you love yourself, you recognize your body as this part of you. It's just a frequency in a different level. it will reconnect yourself to your true self deeply and spiritually. We cannot separate the both because any kind of separation is not oneness. And getting spiritual and separate the body from it, we will never achieve oneness like that, or getting this great awakening of more, because I can be much more than what I'm not today. I know that, but yeah, I still in process, And but
Yeah.
coming, yeah. So
We're always in process. And I think as long as we're gonna be here on Earth, there's no one that can say, check, I'm checked all of the boxes. Now I'm ascending. I love that you were sharing this because, a lot of us have guilt around emotions that we don't want to feel, and we have guilt or shame about things that we've done or we've said, and it's just, it keeps us locked into this energy that we can't really be ourselves. But in the process of awakening, we can't only be in the light. We can't
no.
be only in the love. We have to look at those shadows, and they're not fun to look at. They're not like, yay, I love those parts of myself where I was screwed up, where I was drinking, smoking, violent or whatever, right? It's just, but all of us have all of these different range of emotions, and we need to be okay with experiencing them. And as you said, so many of us, I know for me, and I think a lot of women too, but I repressed anger so much. It was like something like my dad was actually projecting a lot in my home, and I just felt like he was projecting it so much that I was like, man, I'm never gonna have this ever again. Like I'm never gonna be angry, which is, wait, I can't ask myself that. I was angry by times, of course, but it was just like sometimes, as you said, the trauma that we experience creates those blockages from wanting to feel those emotions that look so dark and negative. But the more we're suppressing them, the more we're actually like having this big, heaviness around us that actually hinders us from flying where we want to fly. And I think it's really important that we allow that. I get angry at sometimes at things, and I do cry about things that are upsetting me, and I think it's okay. And I do believe now I understand that it's my inner child talking to me, which I did not understand for years and years and years, but now I do, and I'm like, okay, what is she going through? Like, what is she telling me through that emotion that I need to take care of, that I need to give love to? Because I think that's the part, right? It's not just about loving everything, it's about also loving our darkness, and that's a tricky one. Definitely.
Yes, but love is not just rainbow and kitty. Being love is also. I had a great experience this weekend with my friends. I was helping with the wedding and stuff, and yeah, my behavior was not bad, but a bit offline with what I think and say. And we went back in the car home, and directly he was like, "Yeah, good job, but Jean, this behavior was not correct. Was not aligned with what you are, what you say you are." And that is love too. Be able to say to someone, "Hey, you say you are like that, but you cross the line there," or maybe this, not like advice, but say we give people a good feedback, same one is a feedback that may hurt, for example. In the book I wrote, I give this example long times ago with my first son. My neighbor, I was with a woman with kids, and my neighbor come to me one day, say, "Jean, you are way more like strict with your son than with your stepchildren." And he say, "Yeah, you are way more military with your son to be exact." Yeah, I was like, it shocked me. I cried, but I was so grateful that he came and told me that. And because it helped me to. That was love, because he told me to see clearly. Okay, oh yeah, I'm doing something wrong here, something that is not aligned with what I desire, and he told me to change it because someone was loving enough to be honest enough with me.
Oh, I
Love is
love
to be
that.
honest, is to be. It's so many aspects. It's not just be, oh, you are sweet, pat on the back.
I love
Sometimes
that.
it's like, hey, dude, you suck. No, you know?
Yeah, I think it's the power of vulnerability with ourselves and with people around us. And I mean, of course, we don't want to be like vulnerable and saying whatever we think to anyone that we just cross paths with. But for those that we actually, but for those that we are actually connecting and we know that they will just receive what we say and they're just going to reflect on it and know that they are open, because I can certainly say that there are some people that have been in my life that I could not say much. So I guess it depends how open we are to receiving the feedback too.
Yeah, feedback is, yeah, of course, you have to be open to receive it, but you will see directly if you give a feedback to someone and he reacts in a way that is defensive, aggressive, he was not received. Like this weekend, like the example I gave this weekend, he make me think, went to bed, woke up at 5, and then at time to think, and when my friends wake up too, and we was all together, I apologize to him. I cry because it really moved something in me because it's part of my process now. And but it's great because I could process it now without continuing this unconsciously. But I could see it. It brought light into my darkness of that moment, and I think it's what we get to be when we want really give love around us. Is whatever good or difficult thing we can express or share with people. Same about ourselves. It brought light where is darkness, where is pain or suffering or shame or doubt. And by sharing also this from us, I think it helps others to relate and to know we can be vulnerable. We can, yeah, we can, we can be. I don't want to say the word, but what is it? Sorry, sometimes my English switch. We Yeah, we can make mistake, good, big or small, and it's human. It's part the process of growing up. And consciousness is not um, being more conscious or awaken or go to 5 day whatever. I think it become too stratospheric. Again, I will repeat myself. But the awakening process, the evolution process is not going out, it's coming back in. And that is what I feel dearly. I feel they come to me and push that in also, my guide. And it's an inner work. It's like coming back to the heart. You have a beautiful meditation for that on your channel about, to take decision. But it's because the connection to everything that is there, is in us. I am not Christian, Catholic, whatever, but I know that in the Bible they say, as above, as below. And we say we live in a fractal universe. So the same image is just project on a big scale, on a smaller scale, and we are part of that fractal. And everything inside of us is fractal image of the universe. When you take a picture of the brain, of the neuron pathway, and they make a picture through computer of the universe, known universe, it look the same. It look like neuron pathway. And I do believe that it's connected. We are not, we are the same. And to be whole is to be to reconnect with our inner universe. And that allows us to connect with the outer universe.
I love that. And I mean, the spiritual awakening, it's like if at some point, I know for myself, like when I connected to my guides and the energies, I was like, oh my God, this is so great. I want to be in this higher realm all day long. Like I would be there all day long. Like, can I meditate all day, every day? Yeah, it's like getting high on no drugs. But as you said, it's like it is great, but that's a guidance. That's like something that we can use to guide ourselves through this incarnation. But the goal is to be able to bring those energies in this incarnation. That's what's hard. It's not to get a very beautiful meditation. I mean, for some people it's hard at first, obviously, but at some point it gets like kind of something that we experience off more and more and more. But it's like, how can you bring this state of consciousness in your incarnation? How can you feel so expanded in your life? How can you meet people and connect with your heart? How can you allow your heart to tell you, oh, this is good, this is less good, oh yeah, that feels right, all of those. As you said, the body has so much wisdom that we've probably not connected enough in our whole life and this incarnation and maybe other incarnation on this planet, of course. So how can we reconnect to it to get the inner guidance and connect to our own divine wisdom? I mean, so many people will just tell me like, I want to see my guides, I want to connect to those, but it's like, yeah, it's so much more important that you connect to yourself, because that's where all of your wisdom is. But it's just less fancy, I guess, to say like,
That's
well,
where you guide there.
right, because like you're like, well, who did you channel? Well, I channel myself, my
Yeah.
own wisdom, which is beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just part of how can you really allow those energies to be embedded in you and share them with others as much as you can, but with the ups and downs that comes with it, because as you said earlier, it's beautiful to have people that are available with us enough to tell us the truth, to show the mirror back to us, and vice versa. But it creates emotional stuff, right? It's like, oh my God, like, oh yeah, I didn't see this like that. It's like, oh my God. And then you cry, and then you like let go, and then you can move on. It's just such a beautiful process. Before I forget, I would love for you to talk about your book, because you just said a little piece about it, but I would love for you to speak about it more, please.
Okay, so my book is Happiness is a Way of Life. Follow your path. I have it here if you want to see. And so the process of this book is I traveled 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and I was in Morocco meditating. Was Ramadan, so I was there. Short story. And my intuition, my guide, told me, "Oh, you will write a book." I laughed a lot about it at that time because I was like, me writing a book. My French was not that great, and this book is in English. So, and but 5 years forward, I did write the book in French, but it's not finished yet. But then I get the idea to take a condense of my life story, skip a lot of story, and use the practical part. So all that I did practically with myself and mostly self-taught, all those little things that brought me to my awakening, but also after what I learned and what I practiced to continue this journey. Because yeah, it's a lot, like I say, personal development is really important, because same if I had my awakening, I have this great consciousness, I have many trauma to heal, and I'm still in process. It's way more easy now because I'm way more conscious about myself and feeling, but this process is always there. And this book is really a practical book where it's a short book, but it's really to the point, I guess. To each, I have a different point. I can, like, the power of purpose. What is the power of your emotion, of your intuition, the power of your focus and determination. All these different points that I develop a bit and practice that I used to do and I still do today. As a point before we start the podcast, you asked me something I would like to give in end of this podcast, but now I feel that something I want to give to the people that are listening now to you is what really start my awakening process. And I think it's something that if we focus on, everyone can forward the process. Is talking to yourself in front of the mirror, talking to your body. It can be really hard. is something that it is hard because it's really it's really your own mirror. But reconnecting to your body with love, with acceptance, uh, stop every judgment. I brainwash myself in beginning. When I say I brainwash, every time I will have a judgment, I will pinch myself to feel the pain that it does to myself. It can be about everything. I had this discussion again this weekend. It can be about you see someone with a shirt that you're like, ah, doesn't fit on him or on her, but change this, catch it and say, oh, but maybe she's really happy with it. Or just put something positive. Just don't say, oh, I judge that. Okay, stop. No, put something positive on it. It's really important. And everyone you met, give them a smile. Look at them and give them a smile. Do those three things, and you will already go a long way in your process in changing the way life appear to you, because you will stop progressively to you will see through the barrier, through the envelope of people, through the facade that clothes give, that makeup give, that a nice haircut give. And you will start to see, but you will start to feel, because you first connect with yourself, and that will give you a better sense of feeling, of intuition. And you will start to see people for who they are. You will connect to them. And giving them a smile, it will give you such a great joy. First, because some people will look at you like, oh man, you're crazy. And other people, yeah, really, trust me. Some people are like, oh my God, what do you do? But you will light up the face of people. You will see people down. Then they will realize you smile at them. It will take them a half a second, and then they will light up. And what you will receive from that is, I cannot explain, but what you give is just a tiny percentage of what you will receive from it. And the connection that came from that, the gratitude, and the I forgot the word in English, but those energy exchange are so beautiful and so needing in this
Mm.
world, because you don't know how you can change the life of someone just with a simple smile. And by smiling, you give it to yourself first, because smiling makes you feel good. It gives your body so much good hormone and good feeling, and it doesn't cost nothing. It's not difficult. It's the first therapy for you to feel good, and you offer it to the world. It makes you so much prettier when you smile than when you make a face like that.
Definitely.
Try in the mirror.
I
Trust me,
love
some
that.
morning I go in front of the mirror, I look at myself like, oh, it's smile, Jean. It's scary.
That's funny. Oh, I love that. It's funny because not so long ago I saw a lady and I really loved their haircut, and I went to her, actually like went out of my way. I went to her and I was like, I really love your haircut. I just had to tell you. And she's like, oh, you cannot see, you're making my day. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I was like, it took me like a minute to do. I actually thought about it, but I think giving compliments, not like fake compliments, of course, but like when you think about something, I'm a lot faster than I was when I was younger. When I was younger, I was more timid. Now I'm not that timid anymore, but I'll say like, I love your dress, or I like your shirt, or I like whatever. And it's just like, it makes people feel seen. So many
Yeah.
people with the phones, with the connection with those electronics, we don't even look at each other's eye anymore. So it's just like that, you're noticing something, and it's not about flirting or anything. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't have to be that. It can just be like, I noticed that you're there and I like that about you, and I just thought it was important to tell you, like, I don't know. I think it's very important for humans to be seen, to feel seen, and to have this exchange that is with strangers, because we don't know what people they were like. And I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure in all my life, the days where I felt very depressed and sad, when if someone would have smiled at me, and probably it happened, I just can't remember right now an example, but it probably made a difference. It did make a difference. And I think that's why we're all here. Like, this society makes us feel, or programs into us, that we're so different from each other because we're from different parts of the countries, or different countries, different provinces, different, we speak different languages. But a smile, as you were saying, it's universal language. Everybody can smile to each other, and that brights up the day of everyone. And I love that. It's such a great reminder for all of us.
Yeah, give compliment. I love to give compliment to people. Like I say, it's also something weird for a lot of people to just receive a compliment. Not to, it's difficult to receive it, but people are not really uh, generous with compliment nowadays, I think. Uh, Maybe your close friends or something like that, but just in general, it's like you say, just go to someone and say, "Ah, I love your hair," or say, "Oh, look at those pretty people," or whatever it can be. Is so simple, when you go take your coffee or at the bakery or something and say, "Oh, thank you to work today." I like to do that at the when I go shop, and I go pay my grocery, and it's Sunday at 3 afternoon. I say, "Oh, thank you to work on Sunday for me, so I can come or late at night," and of course, again, you get weird look, because of what you want to. But a lot of people also they're like, "Oh, thank you," and it's just little thing. But if everyone we could start to do it a bit, yeah, we could change the world. And I have my little utopia like that, but I do think little act of kindness make you connect to people and make you, it's what it's about to be awakened and this kind of thing. It's like I say, I think
Yeah.
the West is taking too much stratospheric way, and we disconnect to the simple thing of life. We can say I'm awakened, but I'm behind my phone all day. I don't see the world. No, you are maybe awakened in some way, but you are so disconnected. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's this it's exchange like we have now, conversation, and you can have that with everyone if you want. You just have to dare to go, and I say that to everybody who listen. Just dare, smile, go to meet someone at the cafe or whatever, and say hi.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
be curious about other people, and you will see how they are curious about your life too, and you create so much contact and exchange like
Mm. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love that. I love that. What would be the last beautiful words that you would love to share with our audience today? Tell me what you would like to share, whatever it is. Just the last words to complete this
that.
episode.
You are loved more than you can ever imagine. You are loved by people around you. You are loved by so many guides, spirits, by the whole universe. But it's so many love pouring. You are seen by maybe not with people around you. You might feel really alone, but know that is always someone seeing you, observing you, sending you love and hoping that you can see the light inside you. So remember, you are never, never alone. And we love you really, really much, wherever you are in the world. Mm.
Hmm. Oh, it's so comforting. So comforting. Thank you, dear Jean. It was such a pleasure to have this chat with you. I know we'll have more chats like this moving forward.
Yeah. No, it's
Um,
really great to talk with you. You're a beautiful soul, a beautiful person, and yeah, I cannot wait to have more chat with you and do more work with you. And yeah, you're awesome. I'm really grateful that you appear in my life too. Thank you.
oh, yeah, it was actually, I mean, we think it's coincidences, but it's never. We're not really that. So like our higher stuff was like, hey, they need to meet. And then they organized it. And I think if I can remember correctly, I think why I reached out was that you posted that you had made a cold plunge on your Facebook, and I was like, "Holy crap, it's cold in Sweden!" And
Yeah, I
I was
think it
in
was something like
Mexico,
that.
and that's when I started talking to you. But we were both in a spiritual group, which I can't remember which one. And then you had posted about your book, and I was like, "Hey, I have a book too," and it was just like that's very beautiful to meet
Yeah.
open, like-minded souls wherever they are on this planet. I'm so grateful to have connected with you and still stay in contact.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to having me on your podcast.
You're
It's
so
been-
welcome. We'll put all of Jean's details below, his book, and how you can communicate with him, to connect with him, to hear more about his services. So we're very happy for this talk, and we will chat very soon for the next episode. So hi, everyone. Have a beautiful day or evening, and we will talk very soon, beautiful souls. Thanks, Jean.
Thank you, everybody.